Good morning guys, and welcome to the PhD vlog day 11. I am not running late today. I am at the British Library on time. I left at 9 and I am ready to get started for the day. Yesterday was probably the lowest point of the vlog so far. I was feeling pretty demoralised, and I'm not going to start today with a gung-ho attitude or any kind of aims for what I want to achieve. I've been going in like that every day so far with this vlog, and it hasn't really been working out for me. So I'm just going to go in and see what happens today, work as hard as I can for as long as I can, and try and be a bit zen. What will be will be. The chapter will get done when it's meant to get done. Happy hump day. I'm working 7 days in a row this week, so it's not a hump day for me, but I hope that you guys are having a good hump day. Alright, it is lunchtime now. It's just a little bit before 1 and I've just left the British Library to go and sit in the sun. It's not very warm today. I'm wearing my winter coat and opaque tights, but you know, you've got to take what you can get, and I'm sure the sun is doing me a little bit of good. I'm wearing sunscreen, of course. I've been going well so far today. I think working in the British Library is a much better environment for me at the moment. I just feel a lot calmer than I felt yesterday. I was getting quite agitated. I think the kind of jackhammering that I was hearing outside my apartment was probably contributing to that. And also there's a lot of distractions at home, so when you get agitated it's easy to be like, okay, I'll just make a cup of tea, okay, I will just go and play with myself for a little bit, or whatever. Things like that, which you think that they're going to be a form of stress relief, but actually what's kind of happening is that you're just making matters worse by kind of putting off the inevitable. Anyway, I think it was a good vlog yesterday in terms of showing the PhD process, warts and all, including Winegate. I debated about putting that in or not, but I think it's good that I left it in, because sometimes it's those little things that you have no control over which do tip you over the edge and lead to a complete meltdown. So the fact that it didn't lead to a meltdown, I'm pleased about. Good afternoon. It's about 3:30 and I am, surprise, going to get a cup of coffee. So Store Street Espresso is a bit too far away from the L to get a coffee, but luckily they have a sister shop, so I am on my way to Continental Stores to get a coffee from there. My day is still progressing similar to how it was at lunchtime, so I'm making good progress. It's not a miracle, nothing to get super excited about and jump up and down and sing and dance. Not that it would be appropriate to do that in a library anyway, but I do feel a bit like I've turned a corner since yesterday and the cobwebs are clearing. So I hope that if I keep on working at this and just putting the hours in, the argument will clarify and I'll end up with a really good chapter to send off to my supervisor on Sunday. After my coffee, I'm going to do some work on the second half of the chapter on the PhD section, which, as I've mentioned before, is much better. So there's a few reasons why I'm going to do that. I write better in the morning. I just find that the prose flows much more nicely for me, and in the afternoon I tend to be a lot more wordy. And then when I go back over that work in the morning, I have to do a lot of editing. And you probably even got that from my vlogs. I mean, I tend to kind of be a little bit more incomprehensible, go on to weird tangents and things like that in the afternoons. Whereas I'm much more of a morning person. I'm kind of crisp and clear in my thoughts and in my writings in the AM. So I'm going to work on that second half. So that's the first reason, because I think that I'm better suited to doing an easier writing task in the afternoon. The second reason is that it's better, and I think it's good for me to constantly be reminding myself right now of what a good chapter looks like, what a good performance analysis looks like. So hopefully I will go to bed thinking about this good example, and when I wake up in the morning and go back to the birdie section, I will again be doing some more good writing. I got an interesting email this afternoon, which is from a conference organiser that I'm speaking at later this month. The conference is a Martin Crimp workshop, and oops, I am giving a paper about Martin Crimp's 2 Greek tragedy adaptations at that conference. And I'm quite nervous about it actually, because Martin Crimp is coming and is going to be in conversation with someone on stage. So he's not giving a prepared talk, he's kind of being interviewed on stage. And he is being interviewed directly after my paper. So there's a decent chance that he might be there when I give my paper. So I'm quite nervous. As a classicist, generally people like me don't have to deal with the people that we talk about turning up to our events. But because this is a reception studies topic, some people that I write about are still alive. Anyway, it will just make me more conscious about what I'm saying and potential for offence. And I think the lessons learnt in that are good for any project. I mean, you know, that old saying of you should never say something unless you'd be prepared to say it to someone's face. I think when you're talking about Euripides or someone like that, it's easy to forget that. But really, we shouldn't. We should be conscious about how someone might react to that type of judgment at any time. Anyway, this email that I got was about publication opportunity, and the conference organisers are doing a special issue of a journal, and they've just emailed all the speakers and asked if we wanted to submit an article for the special issue. And I'm in two minds about this. On the one hand, I'm really excited and know that any publication opportunity for a PhD student is a good opportunity. But on the other, it means I would need to get a first draft in before the summer, so before when I'm planning on submitting my thesis. My conference talk is based on a thesis chapter, but nevertheless, that's going to be a lot of extra work for me to take on. Good evening, everyone. I am just walking out of the back entrance of the British Library. There's a party on. My invite must have gotten lost in the mail, I guess. Anyway, I couldn't get out of the front entrance because there's this big champagne reception. I think it's for the launch of the Magna Carta exhibition. It's about 7:20. I've worked a really long day today, so I've been in the library for 10 hours, and I'm pleased with that. I'm pleased with myself today. I feel much happier than I did yesterday. I'm not going to talk too much about achievements with my chapter. Obviously, I'm not finished. I think we knew yesterday that it was going to be a much harder task than maybe I had initially thought it would be. But I made good progress today, and I am happy with the effort that I put in. Tomorrow I think I'm just going to work on the Phaestes section and have a complete full day off the Worcester group section, which I think will help me get it. I think I'll be more likely to finish it by Sunday if I do that. There's been a really nice outpouring of sympathy on social media today in response to yesterday's vlog, and I thought I should address a few things in this video entry. So thank you very much for all those who sent me sympathetic messages, very much appreciated. But I did want to clarify, thank you, and I would also like to clarify that although I might have looked pretty miserable yesterday, in all honesty, this is just part of my process, and I said that I would show what it looks like to do a PhD, warts and all, and days like that are the warts. Literally, I have a day like that every single chapter, or every draft of every chapter, really. And although it's dreadful at the time, the next day is a blank page, a clean slate, and they don't worry me too much, those bad days. They come and they go. But I think they are what makes being a writer difficult. That is why not everyone has a doctorate, because it takes incredible motivation to pick yourself back up after having a day where you just feel like you're constantly hitting a brick wall, and to have the motivation and the love for the subject and the discipline to keep going and persevere no matter how bad some of the days look. So I thought I should just address that and say thank you for the sympathy, but don't worry too much about me. It's just part of my process. And I think if you don't have days like that, you're one of two things. You're a genius, or you're not a very good scholar. And unfortunately, I'm not a genius, so days like that are just part of making myself into what will hopefully one day be a good scholar. Good evening everyone. I am now coming to you from my desk. It is about 20 past 10 at the moment and I think I'm going to call it quits for today. So I haven't been doing a lot of work since I got home from the British Library. I did my monthly budget, very exciting, not. And I've just been doing a little bit of email correspondence and now I am working on my lesson for tomorrow. But I think I have done enough work, my lesson for Friday, not for tomorrow rather. Yeah, I think I've done enough work. I'm going to try and finish doing the lesson plan tomorrow morning before I start work for the day. But I've done more than half of it. I just have to work out exactly how I want to structure the second half of the class. This week we're doing a topic which is quite outside my area, so we are looking at kind of notions of justice in Aristotle and Plato and their reception in kind of Popper and Strauss and people like that. So yeah, this is something that is a bit out there for me and my focus normally on Greek tragedy. But it should be a fun class and I think I might hand a lot of the lesson over to the students and get them to give them some readings and then maybe split them into two groups and get them to teach one another. I mean, all the literature says that students learn really well when they're doing kind of active tasks like that and get a lot out of learning from their peers rather than necessarily from their teacher. So I think that should be a good way of kind of approaching this topic. Anyway, I have enjoyed speaking to you today. It's been nice coming to you from a more positive headspace than yesterday, and I will look forward to checking in tomorrow morning. See you then. Bye.